I have become the manager of Newcastle United, but I'm not in charge of any transfers at this club.
Sorry, what?
This guy is. He is the Newcastle Director of Football. And I have set all the transfer responsibility to Dan Ashworth, the ins, the outs, and the contracts.
You're having a laugh!
And I'm giving him, and I guess myself, just 5 seasons to see if I can win the Premier League and Champions League with Newcastle United.
I'm not feeling the pressure, no. You cannot put pressure on me. No chance.
It's not even July and he's already making offers for Thomas Souček at West Ham. Centre midfield is definitely a position we are weak in, and Souček I think is brilliant. I really like this director of football already.
That's my guy! That's my guy!
But West Ham are wanting 46 million and our budget is only 56. Well, welcome to the new director of football series. If you are new to the channel, we do lots of challenges just like this one. And my dear old dad sent me a challenge to reach 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So please consider subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. My scouts highly recommend Bastoni as a top target. No good telling me that though, lads. A huge £46 million plus Ryan Fraser bid has been accepted though, and Dan Ashworth is offering 80,000 grand a week contract to Thomas Souček. One thing I am in charge of is the tactic, and I've built a 4-4-2 shape that I think Souček will be perfect for in that centre midfield role alongside Bruno Guimaraes.
Cheers, Jeff.
Dunno. I think that's a bit dodgy, mate.
More potential transfers with one kid Facundo Farias from Argentina. A decent little squad player with good potential, but not exactly a position we are running right now in that number 10 role. And the reason I went with a 4-4-2 is because there's also Dan Ashworth's preferred formation, so I thought it would match up with his transfers. But anyway, our first sign-in, Thomas Souček, is signed, and long-term viewers of the channel will remember how much I love this guy in Football Manager because of his player traits, meaning I can get him to score so many goals. So I'm going to attempt it again with a slight change to the tactic and making his role as centre midfield on attack just to try it out and see how it does. Farias also joins the club for just £3 million up front. We've still got £27 million in the budget somehow. Financial fair play. Dan also accepted a loan offer for Sean Longstaff from Brighton, but Sean rejected the offer.
Damn it, Carl!
Isak is getting prepared for the season, scoring 5 goals in a final pre-season friendly, with our first game of the season being against Bournemouth. Hilariously, Isak did not score on this day, but he did get involved in the goals when he assisted the second, which was excellently executed by Matt Targett from left back. Souček, the brand new signing, also assisted on his debut for Chris Wood, and we finished the game 4-0 winners when Bruno Guimaraes got in the final tap-in. A position I didn't expect us to go for is the goalkeeper slot. We've made an offer for Jan Sommer, and I'm curious as I think Nick Pope is better, but when comparing, Jan does have better goalkeeping attributes. I just don't think he's so much better that we really justify a £16 million move at the age of 33. I actually think Dan's drunk. Jan Sommer is a Newcastle player, so Dan offers £30 million for Emiliano Martinez, and we only have £14 million left.
I declare bankruptcy!
I think whatever Dan was drinking ended up in the water bowls at half-time, because against Everton we looked comfortable when St. Maximin scored before half-time. But we were lacklustre to say the least in the second half, and it cost us 2 points. We then played Leeds at home in the league and we won 4-2. Then we lost to them in the following game in the Cup. But a Souček winner against Brentford and a controlling performance against Fulham seen out the rest of the games in the transfer window. Man City have a plus 16 goal difference after just 5 games, but don't let that hide us in third place with plus 11. The drama of the transfer window didn't stop there as Sean Longstaff finally left on loan to Brighton. And we paid £4 million for 6'4" centre-back Willy Cambuala, who we'll now call Big Willy.
Ha! Giggity.
Big Willy jumps into the youth team for now, so it's just Souček and Jan Sommer. Dan Ashworth decided to bring in for the first team, of course, Farias as a squad player. No transfers out. Although Brighton's contract states that they will permanently be signing Sean Longstaff for £4.7 million at the end of the season. September, we are either amazing or we are dreadful. It started off really well when St. Maximin Rabona cross was pushed out into the path of Isak to score. But then the game flipped on its head when in the 92nd minute, Ben Johnson equalised off of a rebound. In the 95th, we gave all the points away when Antonio scored. Then we went and smashed Man United 7-0 in the Premier League. In October, not even a Jamie Vardy hat-trick could take 3 points away from us. And when Chelsea visited St James's Park, they had the audacity to take the lead through Sterling. Luckily, we kept ourselves in the game and got an equaliser through Almiron, who then got himself sent off in the next match in a loss to Spurs. An example of Souček's movement from the centre midfield spot in the 3-1 win against Brighton here. And with the World Cup approaching, we have been staying strong going into the break. Second place in the league, only 4 points behind Man City and 4 points ahead of Man United, who again, we beat 7-0. We took on Aston Villa in one of the 2 games in November, and it was the day for Callum Wilson. He scored 3 goals in a 4-0 win and was absolutely quality, so clinical, and showing why Football Manager players over the years absolutely love Mr. Wilson. Chris Wood picked up the 4th in a fantastic win. Our last game before the break was a tight 2-2 draw against Arsenal. The World Cup final was won by France with Mbappe's second and extra time winner against the Dutch. And our first game back was Manchester City. And of course they were on fire before the World Cup, with Erling Haaland enjoying his rest and decided to score not 1 but 2 goals against us. But don't panic, because 3 of our players also scored 2 goals and we absolutely smashed them 6-2. They were definitely missing Frankie and McCourty. If you know, you know. Please check out my best ever video. Southampton are bottom of the league, by the way, with 7 points. And why am I mentioning this? Because we followed our win against top of the league Man City with a draw against Southampton. January arrives and Dan is back at it, offering out bids for Angel Correa, which was rejected. Looks like the owners are giving him some more spending money. Although putting a £35 million bid in for Douglas Santos is not what I expected. January also brought a loss to Liverpool in the league twice. Another fullback sign as we pick up Timothy Castagna on loan with a permanent buy for £19 million. Good signing, to be fair. And Adrian Rabiot, who, subject to a work permit, which he should get, joins on a free transfer when his contract runs out at the end of June. In February, we managed to beat bottom of the league Southampton 3-1. We also faced Spurs in what started off as a very tight affair when, after Isak bagged the opener, Heung-min Son managed to hide his shot from the goalkeeper to equalise. But Isak nodded a back post cross down to Bruno Guimaraes, who put us back into the lead, and just after half-time, he then went and scored a third himself, and Callum Wilson put the game to bed, making it 4-1. Unfortunately, we couldn't replicate our huge victory against United at Old Trafford. 2 more wins against Southampton and Everton, though, with a 5th round tie against Forest next. We are still holding our own in the Premier League, though, and 2nd spot, but from 2nd to 5th, it's very tight, and who will miss out? FA Cup time, and an unbelievable pass by Souček found Callum Wilson for the first goal. Forest looked like they wasted their attack, but they managed to keep piling on the pressure and equalise from it eventually. But Souček was the man today. Not only did he get the first assist, but he scored the winner as well. In the quarterfinal, we faced Brighton, with Wilson picking up 1 more goal, and yet again, Thomas Souček scoring 2. He now has 15 goals in 22 appearances in the league and 20 goals across all competitions. In the league, we couldn't beat Brighton and only picked up 4 points from 6, with Arsenal and City up next. But we are still in 2nd with a game in hand, so shall we really push for this Champions League this season?
Go on, man.
Well prepared to be shocked, because we just smashed 3rd place Arsenal 6-0, and I don't know what is happening to us in these big games, because it doesn't even stop there. We then went to the Etihad to Manchester City, who are absolute steamrolling teams this year, against Erling Haaland, who has nearly 40 goals in about 28 games, and we went there and we won the game 7-0, and they played their first 11, and it wasn't even that Jan Sommer was having the best game of his life. They had 1 shot on target. They just didn't show up. We were simply amazing. I don't know what to tell you. Because we followed that with a loss to Villa.
I can't believe it!
West Ham also knocked us out of the FA Cup in extra time of the semi-final.
Oh, God!
And with a couple of wins to Forest and Palace but a loss to Chelsea, we have a fairly easy run towards the end of the season, pushing for that top 4 spot. And in May, we went on a tear, beating Bournemouth 3-0. Defeated Brentford at home 1-0 with a beautiful team goal. Another 1-0 win against Leeds, where Bruno was also sent off. And then we even embarrassed the FA Cup finalist West Ham 5-0 in our final home game this season. And we lose our last game against Fulham at Craven Cottage. But yes, we completely outperformed all expectations with this team, finishing only 4 points behind champions Manchester City, and somehow have a better goal difference without having a top scorer in the top 3 or our goalkeeper in the clean sheets of the player stats, with Haaland there just casually sitting on 47 goals in 38 games. Isak scored 30 goals this season with 11 assists in 41 matches, a goal contribution per game. Absolutely fantastic, and Thomas Souček even finished in second place on goals, even ahead of Callum Wilson from centre midfield. But make sure you tune into the next episode because Dan, our director of football, has £142 million to spend, so you don't want to miss out who he brings in next.